Hey guys, it's just a touch of J coming at you, putting it all out there in pieces. Come on and listen to my new podcast series on the shocking truth and the tell-all story about how my life changed in one whole year, from the date of 4/12/2017 to 4/12/2018. Experience my testimony about how my heartbreak started it all. Take a sneak peek into my cooking career so that you can understand how and why I became a chef. Also get info about my up-and-coming juicy secrets. Yeah, I got some book deals going on, cooking shows, and get some little insight about some of them celebrity chefs I done cooked for and with. All right, discover my pain behind the loss of my child that no one knew about, self-love, and my weight loss journey, and much, much more. From my perspective and others, hear my guests interview me while I tell you how I survived and I became who I am today. It's just a touch of J. It's my 1-year anniversary today, 4/12/2017. It's going to be available this weekend. I hope you guys like it. Talk to you soon. Much love. J. Hey guys, this is just a touch of J, and I'm coming at you putting it all out there in pieces. I cannot wait to start this series. This series means so much to me because I just want you guys to know how passionate I am about cooking. We're going to have several guests that are going to come out. One of them is going to be my mother. The first guest, though, is going to be a guy named Robert Ian. Robert Ian is a fellow culinary chef and foodie. He's going to go ahead and do some quick questions and answers with me. Let me go ahead and tell my story, and we're going to talk about how Making Love in V's Kitchen got started via Instagram, how Veronica's Guide to Making Love in the Kitchen got started via Facebook. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty, and we're going to go ahead and tell my story. I cannot wait. Just like I said, again, this is just a touch of J, and we're coming to you putting it all out there in pieces. Make sure you stay tuned and listen to each episode so you can get some news about my mobile app, some news about some TV shows, some news about 2 book deals, my trips that I went outside the country, the people that I've cooked for, everything. I just cannot wait to go ahead and share my life with you. The time period is going to be from 4/12/2017 to 4/12/2018. So stay tuned. Thanks for listening. Robert, you on there?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
Good. Let me try to I can barely hear you
I got my sound turned up. I told you that you need to go ahead and get an iPhone.
here.
Everybody listening, he doesn't have an iPhone.
I'm working on that. I have to be reconverted. I had a bad experience with my first iPhone. Can you guys hear me all right?
I can
Or
hear you fine.
why is my phone so low?
I just told you.
Okay, so I'm guessing I can't put it on speakerphone with this app.
Probably not.
So I'm just gonna do. You know what? Just give me a second. I'll put in some earphones. It might be better.
See how he tricked
So
you?
if we get all set up, I don't have to do nothing else, right?
No, you had to do nothing else. All you got to do is be on the line.
Yeah, I know I can't hear you guys. So here we go. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a little better.
A little better.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about my phone. I got a great phone.
Whack.
It
Anybody who
is.
doesn't have an iPhone is whack.
We'll step it up. All right. So what we talking about here?
We want you to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself first so they know who they talking to.
Okay, so you guys can call me Chef. I good friends with Chef Veronica. Uh I actually besides me being a chef, I'm also a foodie. Um I travel a little bit, cooking. Um that's actually my passion and my love right now. I'm also an entrepreneur, so I'm trying to use um, the food service and culinary industry to build some of these businesses. I'm having some success with that. Um, I guess that's about it. That's my whole life right there. As far as cooking is concerned, that's what I do.
It really
From it really is. I'm from Jersey,
big up
Garden
Jersey.
State, big up Jersey. Garden State. Love it out there for now because I'm here. But as soon as I can get out, I'm out. But outside of that, like I said, just call me Chef.
All right, Chef. Thanks for introducing yourself. That was
Hmm.
wonderful. You're so amazing. But anyway, we're gonna skip past that. We coming at you like real raw. This is just us. This is how we talk, and we gonna discuss a few things. Like I said, how my making love in V's kitchen started. I'm Justice Such a J, um, Chef Veronica, Timeni, Jill, J, V, whatever you want to call me. I'm out there. I'm there. Uh, but let's get it started. So, Chef, you have any questions for me?
Yeah, you know what? Ironically, I started a IG page for one of my business endeavors, Hoppies 101, um, for my Louisiana style cuisine, and I saw a suggestion. I think it was a suggestion, and your name popped up,
Stop it. Stop
and
it.
and I said, we haven't talked in a while, so I saw that you were posting some food and things like that on there, and I was kind of intrigued because I didn't know that you cooked. At least not to the level that I saw you posting food.
Skills.
Um, it's definitely skills. Well, it looks like you have some skills.
He's a
Let's
hater.
say that. But I was kind of shocked, and of course it got my attention because I think the last time I talked to you, I was trying to further my culinary education.
Yeah, you were.
Um, yeah, it was very difficult. And see, even then, I didn't know that you. Of course, you talked about you throwing down. As a sister, you know, you should be able to throw down. But
Right.
when I saw the posts on there, you were posting regularly, and I saw that you were really engaged in getting, preparing food on a whole nother level. So that kind of interested me, and that's what actually caused me to reach out to you. Show you some support, let you know, I was watching. It was good that you were getting that done. Um, I saw you had other things, other irons in the fire. You had the um, I saw your name popping up all over the place. So I just basically did some social media creeping.
Creep.
I did some
Creepers.
social media creeping for a while.
All right.
Then I wanted to find out a little bit more about what you were doing. Um, and started to find out that you know it, there were some things that you had went through to kind of put you out there into that field at the level that you were. So I basically wanted to find out a little bit more about that if I could, as far as what some of those things are. I know you kind of private, but if I could find out what some of those things were that kind of made you make the shift from, just cooking some bacon and eggs, at home,
So funny.
to basically jumping out there and doing as a serious culinarian. Like
Wow.
how did you make that shift?
It came out kind of crazy, really. I had been cooking, like 2017, 16, 20 years now. But I had been cooking, like in the beginning of 2017. And I was just sharing my food like regularly, like here and there, on my regular Facebook page. I have a lot of friends and family that's on it. So I was just sharing my stuff, just cooking, and they would be like, write a cookbook, you need your own TV show, they was coming at me like that, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy because I'm like, oh, they are really coming at me about this. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna throw a little book out there. So I made a promise to myself. It's like I'm gonna write a recipe in my book every day. I'm gonna cook and I'm gonna come out there and I'm gonna do what I gotta do because a lot of people don't know this. Some people do, but I was focused on coming out with my wine, my 4 bottles of wine. And those of y'all that follow me, y'all know that was my thing. I really wasn't really worried about the cookbook. I was like, I'm doing my whole wine thing. So, but I would write, my little stuff down or whatever. And I never really knew the name of the cookbook. I was just like, I'm gonna name it after something I got to do with my late nanny. Shout out to Nanny. She was really
Shout
out
out to
there with
Nanny.
us. Yeah, shout out to Nanny. Nanny did her little one too, in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
She made love in the kitchen. So,
Mm-hmm.
I was just, on it like that. But
Ah, shit's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
he don't want it to happen. It's a reason. Anyway, we got to it.
So what happened? Did your phone drop or did the app drop?
I think it was something that had to do with the app because look, we got to figure out a way where you got it set up where I can just call you straight through the app. I think the link only lasts a certain amount of time or something. Maybe I don't know.
So
Shit.
why wouldn't you be
But
able to call me through the app?
because it's not showing up. Like you show up in the app context. You're not in the app context. That's how I know you don't have it set up. Like Rara got it set up. Like everybody who has it set up, they show up. Is that you?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We
Hey
good?
guys, sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. What you getting ready to say, Chef?
I said, are we good?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're up to go. So we left off where we were talking about me and why I started to cook because Jay is talking about Chef about some of the stuff that he had going on and he had noticed me on social media. And he was asking me how did I get on social media and all this stuff, and I was telling him how I was just sharing my food and I was all about my wine, and a lot of people were talking about how I need to cook and do a cookbook and all of that. And then he's like, well, how did it all get started anyway, right,
Yeah, that's
Chef?
where we left off. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how it got started was um, it was therapeutic through some pain I had went through. I was in like a horrible uh, breakup, I was seeing a guy for some time. We were friends first, and we had decided to um, have a baby and plan to get married. And he met my mother and my father. Told my grandmother he was going to marry me, and he was just like God's gift to man. As far as I was concerned, I had never been treated so well by a man ever before, and at that time I was 40 years old. And it wasn't like I was out there picking all these jacked up jokers or anything. But I just had never had anybody display love so deeply like that. So anyway, moving forward, we decided to plan to have a baby. We did that, and I had, like I said, before we got cut off. I don't think you guys heard it, but I had access to everything. There was nothing that I didn't want for. I was able to have um, credit cards, bank account information, social security stuff. I knew where his mom lived, everything. There was nothing, like I said, that I didn't want for or be able to have. And what had happened is that we had planned to go away, his birthday. Shout out to all the Aries. And we were supposed to go away to this nice resort. We're talking $500-$600 a night, spend there. But I had to work. And me working, I was just like, look, I'm going to be tired. Why don't you just go ahead and do something? So he decided to go ahead. What he told me is that he paid for a trip. Him and his friend was just going to go away. And I was like, okay, because I was going to plan something for him, intimate back at home. So I said, no problem. You go away, you enjoy yourself. And I went to work and I did everything I had to do. And he's sending me pictures the whole time he's gone. We're talking on the phone, but I really wanted him to enjoy himself. So I just focused on what I needed to focus on. So I planned, something, like I said, really special. Got balloons and cake and roses and everything. Really, really nice, but intimate. Had my daughters in on it. Asked my mom to help me, even though she was in Jersey, at the time. Shout out to Jersey, y'all. We from Jersey.
Shout out to Jersey.
Repping up north. Actually, he's from up north too, Jersey, which was really, really, really crazy too. Like I'm telling you, like this guy was everything. Definitely thought that he was, going to be my husband, heaven sent. So, he's sending me pictures and all that, and I do all that. So he comes back, it was like Sunday, I think, and he wanted to see me, but like I said, I was trying to get everything situated. So, I wound up seeing him that following day. And he came over and he had this little surprise. Actually posted everything out on Facebook. Shout out to everybody who liked it. It was beautiful. I got a lot of good feedback from that. And what was crazy is that afterwards I had said I was going to set up for him to have a gift all week long. So not only did he have that, he had a gift that was sent to him at work every day through that whole week. So everything was fine. I didn't have any issues. And a few days after that, what had happened is that I had gone prom dress shopping with my daughter. And I'm out when we doing the prom dress thing. And I came home, it was late, and I just decided to look on Facebook and check my stuff. And I'm checking everything. At this time, my Facebook page was open. So I'm checking everything and I'm like, oh, okay. I look at the one message and like it had his name. It had a picture of him, but it wasn't like the normal picture that he used to have. And his face was like frowned up. And if I remember correctly, it said his name, his first name and his last name. And then it had ain't shit behind it. And I'm saying to myself, did he change it? So I go check his profile and I'm like, okay, he didn't change his stuff. So what's going on? And I didn't need to. The person who had contacted me was a female. She had made a fake page, but I didn't even read like the message. I was just trying to figure out what was going on. I went back and I'm like, what is really going on? And the message had read, check your inbox, pretty lady. And I went and I checked my inbox, and lo and behold, there was all of these paragraphs of messages where she was explaining this relationship that she had with him. And explaining it, she's like, there's pictures of us together, and I'm looking at the pictures, and some of those pictures were the pictures that he had sent me when he was away. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he was with her. This is where he was. So he had went away with her, and he had did this whole birthday thing. And the whole time he's telling me, I love you and I can't wait to see you, but he's there. And he's there with friends with her. And like she had taken pictures of them eating with the cake and her smiling and having a good time. And I'm just reading, it's just heartbroken. And I keep scrolling down, and then I see text messages where he would tell her good morning. And I'm like, that's around the time he told me good morning. So it was like he would tell me good morning at 6 o'clock and tell her good morning at beautiful. Well, good morning, beautiful at 6. Her good morning, beautiful at 6:02. It was like that. I miss you at 6:03, and her I miss you at 6:05. Once I had compared everything, but I kept scrolling down,
That's
and then
wild.
that's crazy, right? I
Hmm.
kept scrolling down, and I see pictures of them being intimate, like sexually, like really graphic, where it was like recorded videos. And she had actually sent her having sex, but like covered up her face. And I kind of laughed at it later, because what female sends that but covers their face? Usually women with integrity, if they had to do anything, would just send a picture of their face, never their body,
Hmm.
being sexually used, if I can say that. So I know she had no integrity, and she was, trying to hurt me or get me out of the way by sending me that information. But it was very hurtful, and it set me into like a devastation where I actually called him up. And I wasn't enraged or anything. I was really calm. I was just like, hey, baby, you love me? He was like, of course, baby, regular conversation. And I'm like, somebody sent me something. And he was just like, well, if it's blase, blase, then that means that, it could be anything. And I'm like, let me send you what I have. I'm going to forward it through Facebook Messenger. So I forwarded through the Messenger. And after I screenshot every part of it, I forwarded through the Messenger just in case it got deleted or anything. And he's on the phone with me. He's like, you know, oh my gosh, And I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, were you with this person? And he's like, yeah. But he's like, that's a lie. This is the truth, and that's a lie. And, I guess as he was going through what she had been saying. And I'm like, I just want to ask you a question. Like, what do you want? And do you love me? Because I'm in that devastation type of mood right now. Right now, I just want answers. I didn't want to yell. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted the answer. Like, look, what is it? Is this what you want or not? Because if you don't want me, then fine, tell me you don't want me. But if you do, then, you know, what's going on? So, anyway, make a long story short, uh, we were on the phone, and I think I started crying or something. And his response was, well, if I hurt you, then just don't be with me. And you should just hang up the phone now. And you're breathing hard, just hang up the phone. And I remember kind of both of us just hanging up the phone, and that was it. I didn't hear from him until like the next day, and it was through email. He contacted me and was just like, I'm sorry. I don't know if maybe he thought he was blocked, or I don't know.
Hmm.
But he was just like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen like that. And, it just wasn't supposed to happen that way. And that was basically it. But my cooking came out of that, because I was like, I was so hurt that I didn't even really know that I was that hurt. I just was just like, damn, I can't believe this happened to me. Like, I had to tell somebody. And I usually don't even talk to anybody really about a lot of stuff. So I called my mom. And I was just like, I sent everything to my mom. I was like, Mom, this is what happened to me, because I know that she could relate because of my dad's infidelity. So I was like, like, please, help me, like, talk to me. I never been so hurt before, because she knew all about everything. And my mom's going to come online, guys, and she's going to tell you a little bit about it too. Because I was really lost after this. I was lost because I was heartbroken. Like I said, I had never loved someone or had someone love me like that. So, like, I was like, how could you, especially me with child. So I called my mom, and my mom's basically like, I don't really remember what she was saying to me, actually, because I was just so in a daze. But I do remember her telling me it's going to be okay. And it's not as bad as some of the stuff that she had experienced in life. And I was just like, crying and really upset. And she just basically just telling me everything was going to be okay. And I remember after that, I confided into two other people, and they would call me and check on me. And I wrote it down on the calendar, 4/12/2017. And I was just like, this is when it happened. I wrote down how I felt. And before I knew it, like, a couple weeks had passed, and I was still feeling that way. And every day, I forgot about this. Every day I had wrote down how I felt, like, if I was sad, if I was happy, if I cried, because it was just a lot on me.
Mm-hmm.
And before I knew it, I had cried for like 3 weeks every day. And I said to myself, I was like, I'm going to give myself 6 months to heal, because mentally I was a wreck. So for 6 months, every day I cried, literally, and I couldn't get out of bed. Like, you ask yourself, like, how can you not get out of bed? I couldn't get out of the bed. I barely wanted to wash my face and brush my teeth. I was just like in a deep, dark state of depression, if that's what you want to, label it as. All I could do is just pray and just ask God to heal my mind and my heart. And I didn't ever run over his house and act crazy. I didn't ever call him and go all crazy or anything like that, because I knew that if I did, I would go to a different level. So I think me internalizing it is what really kept that hurt and that pain in. When you go off and you yell and you scream and you get it out, then you're okay. I never had the opportunity to do that. So like I said, every day for like 6 months I cried, and in between that I couldn't get out of bed. But when I did get out of bed, I would go downstairs, and I'm being pregnant, I would get something to eat, and I would say, I should cook. Cooking makes me happy. I should cook. And that's kind of how I started really mastering a lot of different skills when it came to me cooking. When it came to my cooking career, that's kind of like where it started at, because there was this time where I was just so weak and so hurt, and all I could do was find love through my food. I know that you reap what you sow. So I said, if I cook for my kids and I cook for other people, I'll bring my love that I have and my passion for food, I'll bring it through that. And they'll be happy, and they'll give me happiness and love and joy. You know, they'll reciprocate and get that proper reciprocity that I had needed at that time. So that's how that got started.
So why do you think it was? I was asking that before. Why do you think it was the food? Like, I'm sure there's other things that you do around the house or in your career that is outside of food. Why do you think the draw was um to the kitchen, to preparing meals or to the culinary arena versus finding your ease, maybe cleaning the house or painting, or out and you're on your secular job. Why do you think it was the food?
Um, it's funny. I always find joy in the kitchen. Like, when my family and my friends kept telling me to write a cookbook, I wanted to give it to like put it about based off of my nanny. Every time I was in the kitchen with her, I was just so happy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like again, shout out to Nanny or RIP. I was happy, you
Mm-hmm.
know. My family, whenever they came around and they were cooking, and they would always say stuff like, yeah, you know, I taught you how to make that, and you put your foot in that, and I cooked that better than you. We always laugh, we always smile. And I do that with my children. Ever since they were little, we all cooked together. You know,
Mm-hmm.
any relationship that I've been in, we cooked together and we had a good time cooking together. So I think that it was that I knew that I was happy when I cooked. I was happy when I prepared food. Like it brought me joy. So I know, like, I can go to work and it can bring me um, a different type of joy. This was like something that I really loved doing. You know, like if I loved to paint, I would have found it in painting,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I actually really love to cook.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that, and that's why I named my cookbook Veronica's Guide to Making Love in the Kitchen. That's also on my Facebook page dedicated to my cookbook, is because I want families to bring back more love into the kitchen. You know, a lot of times you see kids, everybody is on their cell phone, nobody's sitting down anymore,
Right.
nobody's talking, you know, nobody's helping anybody make anything in the kitchen, even if
Mm-hmm.
they're in the kitchen. You know, or maybe just on a Sunday or like Thanksgiving or Christmas. That's when you see that stuff going on. And I want families to get back into sharing that love in the kitchen. So that's why it's called Veronica's Guide to Making Love in the Kitchen. That's why my Instagram is called Making Love in V's Kitchen. And the only reason why that actually got started in the midst of all of this hurt and pain that I was going through is because I used to share my food just like I was saying before, just regularly on Facebook, and everybody would be like going crazy. And one day I tried to share it with music behind it. You know, everybody knows I like putting music behind my food. One of my dreams is to have a cooking show, but it's going to be based around music. You know, like they had Yo MTV Raps, but I want mine to be like a cooking show. So, and we're in the works with that as well. But I wanted that, and I tried to share it, and it wouldn't happen. They kept telling me, taking it down and blocking me every time I tried to share it, and there was a thing about copyright infringement. So I was speaking to my uncle. My uncle was like, create a business page,
Mm-hmm.
create a business page, and you should be okay if you create a business page. So I'm thinking, you know, all right. I created a business page. So I created a little business page. I did a little self marketing. And when I created the Facebook business page, they had it where you could create an Instagram business page as well. So I was like, you know, I might as well do both.
Mm-hmm.
And I began to just cook here and there. Like I had some food already saved in my phone, and I would post it and things like that. And then I had a couple friends that are also chefs, you know, via like Facebook, and they were sharing my stuff in different social groups. And I started getting out there. And one day I had looked on something on my Veronica's Guide to Making Love in the Kitchen Facebook page, and I saw that I had 553 shares and like 10,000 likes. And I was just like, what? You know, like, how the heck did that go viral like within these couple days? Like, I'm saying to myself, I'm just a girl from Jersey. I'm somebody, but really, I'm not anybody like that. You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
why would my stuff go, you know, viral and get shared like that? So I was like, you know, maybe I got something here. Maybe I got something here. People been telling me for a long time, you cook really well. You should have a restaurant. Jay, you should. Um, this is really good. You should write a cookbook. You should do something. But I was always just against it. I even got asked to go to college to become a chef quite a few times, and I just turned it down. Like, no, I'm in the nursing. That's not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that through all of these years that now this is what I do. So from that hurt and that pain and me trying to just get out of bed every day, and I found my passion through cooking. That's what helped me. That is basically how Veronica's Guide to Making Love in the Kitchen, the Cookbook of Love, took off, and Making Love in B's Kitchen on Instagram took off. Then after that, I was like, I got to do a website. Let me set up my own website. Wait a minute, now I got to buy my own domains. Wait a minute, now I have to make sure that I own my name and I own who I am. Okay, and then now I'm like, okay, I need to promote myself. So I went into just all these things, and it just took off from there. You know, um,
So let me back you up a little bit. If I may, like when you're talking about, it sounds like you found the cooking to be therapeutic. Did you go into the kitchen believing that, or with the mind to say, this is my therapy, I'm gonna cook? Or did you, upon cooking, find cooking to be therapeutic, and devoted more time and energy and attention to it, and it took off from there?
definitely the second option. The second reason,
So you started cooking, you was like, this is helping to take my mind off of it,
yeah, yeah, it was
and so
helping to
you
take
took
my
off.
mind off of it. Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. That's exactly what it was doing. Because when I tell you I couldn't get out of the bed, like I mean, me can't get out of the bed as fine as I am. I couldn't get out of the
Hmm.
bed. Like I couldn't. And in that time as well, I wind up not having my baby. And that was really hard too. I had to deal with not being pregnant anymore and going through that pain too. So it was just like I got to do something. Like what do I like to do? And just doing that, it just brought a humongous healing,
Hmm.
satisfaction,
Right.
you know, um definitely a healing and satisfaction came out of that.
So you found it therapeutic. You jumped in there. You started cooking. It took your mind off of everything. Now, granted, you had still went through what you went through. You know the you know the guy you were with. Of course, you guys. I'm taking. That was the last time you really spoke to him. I had any dealings with him. So you had some
Actually, he just
time.
tried to contact me in February.
Yeah.
With the whole "I love you, I miss you, and I'm praying for you, and I'm proud of you" thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and throughout that year, he did as well.
Did
You
you
know,
find it to be genuine?
um, no, at first I did throughout the year of 2017 because there was quite a few attempts, and at
Mm-hmm.
first because I was thinking to myself, well, nobody's perfect, you know. Nobody's perfect. You just don't know. I really thought that this guy was my husband. I never got along with someone so well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't think that anybody understood me so well, just like him. Like he would tell me stuff like, "Baby, I will put my grandmom out on your wedding day if she calls an issue." Like it was just, good morning, beautiful, good night, beautiful. Everything that I probably wanted, he was just giving me. So
Right.
I thought then that it was genuine, but now I know, no, it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, I know it wasn't. It was just leverage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in the kitchen now. You're cooking. You're sweating. You found a new passion.
Right.
So at what point? I know sometimes things. It seemed like things were just starting to develop for you. Um, at one point, did you say, "Okay, this is something I'm gonna devote some time into, and scale it or grow it, so that it can become something like." When did you become more proactive about the culinary industry and the different things that you can do?
Um, I guess it was like two different things, two
Mm-hmm.
different like major points. Um, One was, remember I kept telling you I couldn't get out of bed. I was praying, and God laid it on my heart. You're laying there. It's a story in the Bible about a guy who lays at the pool. You know about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just laying there, and he's basically, everybody's passing him by, and he's just like, help me. He could. His thing was, I can't get up to get in the pool,
Right.
but when they were getting in the pool, everybody was getting healed from it, and he had some type of
Right.
ailment,
Right.
and he but the pool, it was like right there, but he was
Right.
just like, I can't do it. you know I don't know what the issue was, but he just felt like he couldn't, and God laid it on my heart. If you take up your bed and you go, if you take up your bed and you do this, I'll help you. So that was one point that had me actually get up and really say, I have to fight for something. I have to do something with myself. So I started focusing a lot on the cooking, and okay, let me start writing. I came up with I got a little dry eraser board, and I came up with this plan, and I said, I'm gonna give myself 6 months to get myself together, like I said
Mm-hmm.
before. And I said, I'm gonna write in my recipe book. I'm gonna cook something every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I contacted one of my girlfriends, and she was just like, get your hashtags out. Do this, do that. You're gonna cook something every day. You're gonna do what you have to do. And I was like, okay. So in doing that, I I found that out, and then also I realized it when I started seeing how much love I was getting.
Right.
Like, real talk, like, I'm getting all this love. I'm like, what? I'm making love in the kitchen here. I'm getting like, I'm just a touch of Jay. I'm Jay from a little town out in Jersey. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's just who I was, and I'm like, oh, they like me like that. I
Right.
don't got to show my body. I don't got to do this. I'm just showing you a picture of some food that I prepared. And
Right.
you like that. Like, people were saying stuff like, oh my gosh, I love your page. And oh my gosh, I love how you cook. And, can I get the recipe to that? And how did you come up with that? It looks so good. And I'm so proud of you. And thank you for sharing that with us. And, and then it's like, 7,000 um, likes. And then my followers started increasing from 100 to like 500, and then it was just like 800, then it was just thousands, and people were like sharing my stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I got something here. Let me take this a little further.
Right.
Let me take this a little further. Let me, like I said, own my name. Let me start getting my own things going on. Maybe I can do this, and maybe I can do that, and let me come up with some business plans so I can go ahead and write some stuff up for my restaurant. And then I was like, what's my restaurant's name going to be?
Right.
Like, all of that stuff was popping off, just because I had realized at that time that those two things had helped me understand that cooking was the thing.
Right.
Yeah, cooking was the thing.
So, what do you have a? Is there something that you're into right now in this culinary arena that um you're focused on mostly right now that you want to get off the ground or that you're engaged in?
Um, yeah, my cooking show.
The cooking show. What's that? Is it a YouTube thing or how's that working?
It's a YouTube thing, but it's also a thing that I'm doing with two different networks. Can't really talk on it like that, but
Uh oh.
shout out to Food Network.
I gotta start pulling on you now.
Shout out to Food Network, and
Shout out to Food
for
Network.
loving me on my social media pages and all my other platforms, and just showing love and being there.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna leave it there like that.
So what are you doing? How are you feeling now as far as the? It sounded like you were going through a, and I'm gonna bounce around a little bit because I just wanna find out more about it, the state of depression that you were going through. Of course, it sounds like I say that lightly, but it sounds like
Right.
That was a bit of anybody would be depressed in that situation. How are you doing with that now?
Taking it one day at a time.
Mhm.
It was crazy because I'm definitely better. Definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely better. Everybody who knows me, they don't know what I went through, but they can see that I'm definitely different than I was before. But
Mhm.
I'm just taking it one day at a time. I actually used to, well, I still do it, but I was doing it 3 days a week. Now I do it 2 days a week. Everybody who knows me, I was doing my rose petal baths. That was why I was doing that. It was part
Mhm.
of my therapy. I had said that in order for me to heal, I need to love myself. And what
Mhm.
better way to love yourself is pamper yourself, do your own hair. Like I was, us African American females, we like to wear our weaves and our wigs and things like that. I
Mhm.
used to have really long nails. I cut all my nails off, and I said I'm just going to give myself a manicure every Wednesday. I'm going to take a
Mhm.
bath every Sunday, every Wednesday, like every Friday, and I would take these rose petals. I would buy 2 dozen, and I would do these different baths, and I would lay in each rose petal one by one for myself. I would
Right.
get in the tub and I would play music and I would sip on wine and I would sit in there for maybe 2 and 3 hours and I would touch myself and just basically say, you are beautiful, you are pretty, like you're a wonderful woman, you're a wonderful mother. Like, what else was I doing? Oh, I also started working out. I started to work out. Um, Shout out to me for losing over 40 pounds. A lot of
Mhm.
people don't know that I had went up to 208 pounds with being
Mhm.
pregnant and being like depressed and stuff like that. And now
Right.
I am like 165 and, looking pretty damn good.
Mhm.
And
Definitely.
definitely shout out to me for doing
So
that.
that sound like you went through a me time process.
Yeah,
You
me
took some
time
time
process.
out. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Mentally, I just had to do that. So I'm
Mhm.
healing, but I want anybody that's out there that's listening that has gone through anything. Like I know recently I've been seeing quite a people that we went to school with, Chef, that had passed,
Yeah.
and I know about that, like
Mhm.
I know also one of my cousins, her son, killed himself. Anybody who knows me knows that my son's father committed suicide. So and my cousin's son who killed himself, it was because he found out that there was infidelity going on in his relationship. There's a
Wow.
lot of things that happen to people and they just don't know how to deal with this. So I want to just encourage anybody that's out there that's going through anything, just take the time out to love yourself and be who you are, be true to you. Don't forget about that self love. You can get through it, you can get over it. Like I said, nobody knew. Very
Right.
few people knew. I
Right.
would literally get up, go downstairs, cook, come back upstairs, get in the bed, cry, get in the bed, just cry.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Yeah, so y'all, you can go through stuff and you can come out victorious. Find something that you love and just sow into that,
You know what's crazy?
and stay in prayer.
Yeah, definitely prayer. Um, what's crazy is all of these things we talk about. Surrounded around the culinary arena. It's one of the reasons why I find it so fascinating. You talking about the infidelity in the family, and of course you have the making love in V's kitchen and the making love part, and putting that together with when you talk about the infidelity, um, just having that love in relationships, cooking together, cooking for your spouse, the type of love and the cohesion that cooking and preparing meals for your loved one creates. And same thing with family, putting meals together for your family, having them come sit together at the table,
Mm-hmm.
the cohesion that creates, the healing that creates. And
Right.
it's like it's such a fascinating craft and art form, where you can take foods and you can give life to people. You can communicate to people with
Through
food.
food.
It's just so much, so many avenues. You put a smile on people's face. Talk about soul food cooking, how you pour your whole heart,
Mm-hmm.
and love and affection into the dishes that you create for
Mm-hmm.
people. And just looking at that and seeing the actual name for your Instagram is Making Love in V's Kitchen. Is that one of the things that you would had in mind when you came up with that title of Making Love? Was it a um phileo type of love? What type of love was that? Were you thinking about family? Were you thinking about romantic type love between individuals? What was the motivation behind that?
Both. I mean, look at me. I'm fine. Shout out to me again.
Shout out
But
to you.
yeah, of course, making love in V's kitchen. You know,
Mm.
I have sex appeal. I know how to make love in my kitchen. I loved cooking for him. I loved cooking for my family. You know, I can make love in the kitchen. It's just what I am. And then also I was thinking like how can I put a twist on that where it's still making love in the kitchen, bringing out love in the kitchen. So I was like,
Mhm.
one day I prayed on it. I said, you know what? It's going to be making love in V's kitchen.
Good.
It's going to be, excuse me, it's going to be making love in V's kitchen. Like it's Veronica's Guide to Making Love in the Kitchen, the
Mhm.
cookbook of love. It's going to be making love in V's kitchen.
Good.
Yeah. So,
So it was fitting.
yeah, it was
Are
fit.
you are you doing any? You said you have a guide. Like, can are people learning from your postings or any of the informations or recipes? What are they gathering from that? When if I were to go to your uh Instagram or your Facebook page or your website, whereby it says you have a guide here to making love, what am I going to find? What am I going to get out of
How to make love in V's kitchen? No, I'm not supposed
that?
to. How to
What is
make love in your own kitchen? You
I
know.
mean, are you giving us recipes? Do those recipes come with
Yeah.
some type of information?
Well,
Uh,
I got
that
an app coming
along
out. I got
mhm,
an app coming out.
right.
My website, just a touch of J, .com. You know,
Mm,
as well. Put that plug out there too. But I got an app coming out, and through this app, you're going to be able to get information like that. And I sold a couple recipes online. This was just a little trial period. We wanted to see how it would go. Shout out to the name of my restaurant and my team, Jataj. You guys are
mhm,
doing good. That just means just a touch of J.
okay.
Um, so yeah, that's what they're going to be able to get. And
Okay.
then you'll be able to get it through my website and things like that. And of course, I get inboxed a lot. A lot of people always inbox me, and I give them tips and things like that. But you'll
Mhm.
really be able to get it off of my app, and you'll be able to get my app from Google, iTunes, wherever you can get an app from.
So, uh, jumping back a little bit, we was talking about you having a me time process,
Hmm.
and I know for a fact, like I talk to couples a lot, like come Valentine's Day, I know that there are different foods that you can put together and herbs and spices that you can put
Hmm.
together that could set the mood or
Uh,
prepare them for a sexy evening at home
hmm.
between the sheets. There are different foods that you can give to people uh, that detoxes the body, that promotes weight loss. There's just so much that you can do in this field. When you are
Right.
having that me time process, is there a food that you can think of, or a meal or an entree that you could think of that you could put together that would help a person that was having that type of me time moment? Like, what would be a comfort food type dish for someone that might be going through a situation like that?
Oh, you know what's crazy? I don't even want to say this, but
Hmm.
it's my seafood collard greens. Chef, is that you?
Uh huh.
Guys, sorry about that again. He has a whack phone. I keep trying to tell him that because he has an iPhone. And since he's way up north and I'm way down south, and he has that whack ass phone, it's not gonna, hold
Right.
for so long. So anyway, do you even know where we left off at?
I think you were giving me some information about I asked you what a dish. What would you suggest as a
Oh,
dish? Perhaps
yeah,
comfort food or something
yeah,
for
yeah,
for going through what you went through.
yeah. Chef,
Like
though,
what would
what
you?
is that in the
And I
back?
think you said it was something.
What is
What
that
do
in
you
the
say?
background?
What are you hearing?
I hear some type of a TV or something going on. Is that
No,
R.
no
Kelly you were
TV.
playing earlier?
Nah, it was B earlier, but no, it's no music playing.
Uh,
Um,
Might be the app.
you said something about greens or something. Something you were doing with greens.
Oh yeah, so you were talking about different type of aphrodisiacs or something like that, like a food that I would use for making love, like in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mentioned. Hold on, I got some music going on here.
See
I
what I'm
asked you.
saying, y'all? He ain't got nothing together. He was on there eating earlier. You know what? Do y'all want him to come back as a guest? Y'all need to leave me some messages and let me know,
uh,
cause he
so
off the
so
hook.
so I was asking you about the food. Okay, we talk about the me time process,
Right,
and
right, right, right.
I asked you if there was any food, a particular dish that you would find yourself preparing that was kind of like a comfort food. You know, we have comfort food. Sometimes when I'm angry, I tend to want to crunch on something. I don't want a
Mm.
regular chip. I want the kettle crunch.
Is that
You know
serious?
what I mean?
Is that serious? Huh? Well, all right. Excuse me.
You know what I mean? So, was there a food that you prepared in that process? Did you find yourself okay when you're depressed? Was there something that you found yourself cooking more often um during that time versus you know what I mean? Was it soups? Was it a certain vegetable? Like what were you doing at that time? What was your comfort food?
Um, at that time, my comfort food was lamb.
Lamb.
Um, yeah, I don't eat meat, but for some, I don't know. You got to remember, I was with child, and I wasn't with child, so my hormones were all over the place and stuff. But it was definitely my lamb.
Hmm.
Like I make this mean lamb with I stuff it with several cheeses, ground lamb. I do a lot of different stuff with it. Like I did a lamb cheesesteak. I was doing lamb meatballs. I was doing lamb burgers. I was just doing lamb stew. I just couldn't get enough of lamb. And then two, you were talking about that little, like I said, that natural aphrodisiac. What would I do for couples? I think you said something like that
Hmm.
before we went offline, and I
Right.
was saying what I would make for them. That would be my seafood collard greens.
Yeah, you mentioned the seafood collard greens.
Yeah, my seafood collard greens, man. I'm trying to tell you something. You hear how happy I'm getting talking about them seafood collard greens?
What
Shout
kind
out
of
to
seafood is in it?
everybody who likes them. What? Let me see. Cause I gotta be careful because of who you are.
I got my pen out.
I put a little clam up in there, mussels,
Hmm.
lobster claws,
Hmm.
shrimp, crab claws, and secrets, a whole bunch of secrets. A whole bunch of secrets. I just make love with it. You got to make sure you got some wine too.
So
I like
is that a seafood dish or is it a collard green dish?
it's a collard greens dish. It's collard greens,
Okay.
seafood collard greens. See, look at him, y'all. Y'all hear him? He's trying to get the recipe.
That sound heavy. That
It's
sound
real.
heavy. I'm sure it's delicious.
Put a little Savion Blanc in there, a little Riesling. Uh
Hmm.
huh. Yeah,
Yeah, I got
definitely
that down.
hitable.
Riesling, Sauvignon
Yeah.
Blanc. So where are you right now with everything? I know you got you're talking about you got of course the podcast is going to be popping really soon. It's gonna I don't know how far you're trying to go with that, but after a while, you're gorgeous. People are gonna want to see you, see the videos,
Oh,
see stuff
okay.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me talk about that real quick.
Yeah,
So
that work.
we're going to be doing a video podcast too shortly.
Hmm.
Okay, we just rolling with this right now because I got a lot of topics I've been putting out. See, something about me that you guys should always know. All right, I'm gonna give you a secret. I told you I was gonna give you a few secrets. I'm always working on something.
Hmm.
I'm never not working. 2 in the morning, I'm working. Four
Hmm.
in the morning, I'm working. I could be on the phone for 21 hours, right?
Yeah, yeah.
21 hours. I could be on the phone working.
Right.
Okay. And that's real talk right there. Trying to do things, getting everything going. So I'm always working on something. So I got a lot coming up. I got a lot coming up for y'all. I'm be in front of the camera. Shout out to my body for looking extra lovely. I worked on that. I'm proud of that. Um,
See?
and we're gonna make it do what it do. They definitely gonna see me because I know a lot of my followers and a lot of people, they don't really know who I am. I do share some of my photos on my other Instagram page.
Hmm.
My name is Roni76. Y'all can follow that if you like. It's open. Um,
What is it?
my name
Hmm.
is Roni76. So they can
Okay.
follow that too and check me out on there as well. I post a lot of inspirational stuff, um, a lot of funny things. You can follow me on there and check that out. But I post some pictures, like I said, not many. I'm a different type of a breed. And when I say that,
Hmm.
I mean like I don't believe that I need to show my body off for somebody to like me. You
Hmm.
know, it's a lot of stuff going on social media with that. And I just don't want to do that. I want you to like me for who I am. So
Right.
you will see, a few pictures of me out there, but pretty soon you'll be able to watch me on TV too.
Sounds awesome. I'll be looking on the lookout for that.
I know you will.
So what are your plans like as far as your endeavors right now? I know you spoke a little bit. Can you speak a little bit about uh what it's geared toward? What is your mission in all of this? You spoke about it in brief earlier. Um, can
Uh,
you elaborate a little bit more about that?
for this particular podcast from 4/1/2012 to 4/12/2000. Wait, what am I saying? 4/12/2017 to
17,
4/12
right.
2018. Like, what's the mission behind that?
Right, that, and of course, this is going to roll out into all of the other endeavors that you have. Is there an ultimate goal for these endeavors? What do you see yourself doing? What is the mission? What is the Chef Veronica overall mission? If you had to, if you had to narrow it down,
I
um,
really want people to bring love back into their families. Like,
mhm.
that's it. You know, I,
Right.
I want, like I said, there's a lot of children out here that are growing up without even seeing their parents. They don't sit down anymore. They don't even have dinner,
Right.
at the table. I want love to be brought back into the household. I want parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles to sit down together and
Hmm.
embrace each other around food. I
Hmm.
think when we were talking, you had shared something to me when we were doing a pre-interview yesterday. You shared something
Hmm.
with me about in Africa how they eat with their fingers.
Right. Right.
Okay, what was that about?
Uh, they have. I learned in. I've taken a course in international cooking,
Yes.
and I was learning about we taught about Africa and how a lot of the traditions that we have actually in the culinary arena. And it was crazy. I talked to my instructor at the time. He was a good instructor. And he actually won me over one of the first couple of classes that we had because he cleared out the room. And he was like, "Listen." This is probably the only time I'm going to say this, and we're not going to make a whole big deal about it. But he didn't want to get too much into religion and race and politics. But he had made a point to say that many of the foods and dishes that we um, prepare today and cook today were stolen um, from Africa and from other ethnic cultures. The things that we do and partake of here in America. And he was saying how initially in Africa, how big and important it was for them to eat together as a family. I mean, they could be in the other tribes and living, miles away, but come together to eat, and then go back their separate ways. And he said it was something about how they didn't use utensils; they would eat with their hands because it was more intimate.
Yes.
It's about touch. It's about feeling the food. It's about even when they would toast. Like here in America, we take a glass, we touch glasses when we toast, but they make sure that they touch hands. They don't let the glasses touch it. It's about touch. It's about connection. It's about network. It's about family, communication, fellowship. So all of that was kind of in the forefront and the basis of the meals. And it just made me think about, how I was with my family. Like, we like to, when it's time to eat, we jump in front of the TV. Somebody's over there eating, somebody's in the living room eating,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
or we're on the phones.
Yeah.
We don't sit down and eat. We
Yeah.
don't have that family time. I used to always tell my family, look, turn the TV off. It's 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Let's sit at this table. Tell me about your day.
Exactly.
Let's communicate. Let's
Right.
talk. And I find that that is so helpful to strengthening the cohesion and the family unit. That time of fellowship, that time of eating. Not to mention it's soul food. You're
Yeah.
cooking, you're pouring your heart out into your
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
and you're preparing it for your family. You're nourishing your family. You're taking time out to make sure that they're eating healthy. So all of that is so important. And it's almost a lost art form, and we really need to try to get back to that. And it's crazy that that stemmed from where we come from. We invented that. To hear that come from my instructor, who was a European, to be honest enough, to say that that was important. They also, another thing they would do was they would have these bowls. They would sit the bowls down, and everyone would wash each other's hands and feet,
Yeah.
at the table.
Yeah.
And before they it was called, it was a washing ritual. And they would use their right hand to pick up the food. They would never use their left hand. It was
Yeah.
always the right hand. So, and you think about it, you think through scriptures, if you subscribe to the book and all of these other places, how the right hand is um so important and
Right.
pertinent to so many different situations. And it was something too. I'll say all that to say that there was something in uh eating together. There's something
Right.
in what you eat and how you eat and who
Right.
you eat with.
Exactly.
There's something to that. It's a lot of life there, and that's why I love this industry, because it's so much that you can do just by studying this craft and executing properly the different things that you learn or that the craft offers to you. So yeah, I remember, I remember that story, and it sticks with me to this day. But yeah, it's very important, the family unit coming together to eat, and to fellowship, and taking time out to do that. If not all 3 meals during the day, at least one of them,
Right. At least
at the
one of them.
least,
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I really want families to do that. That's why my cookbook is Veronica's Guide to Making Love in the Kitchen, the cookbook of love. Because
Hmm.
I really want that. That's what I want. And sharing my story today, the hurt, the pain, the things that I went through. I want people to understand that it's okay. Some guy out there right now is dealing with what I had to deal with. Maybe he's like, I just can't believe this. Maybe he's hurt like that and he can't get out of bed, or he's having a problem at work. He's having a problem focusing because his wife stepped out on him or his girlfriend did. Like I said, someone in my family shot themselves in the head because of that.
Well,
Like I told you before, my son's father committed suicide. So, people have a hard time with taking things sometimes. Like when you hurt somebody, I don't think that the person who's doing the hurting, they really understand um how much heartache and pain they're bringing to someone else. So in telling my story, I just want people, on that aspect of it, to understand that it's okay to go through things, find something that you love, pour your heart into it. Like I said, if it's painting, paint. If it's reading, read. Whatever it is, tell yourself that you love yourself. Understand that you reap what you sow. So if you give love out, I tell everybody that I love them now. If you give
mm-hmm.
love out, you're going to get that back. God said, I am not mocked. You will reap
Right.
what you sow.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's what I want to gain from both of these things. And of course, to be successful, I'm going to win. I'm already winning. I've already won.
I believe that.
Okay. So you guys going to check me out with my Jataj restaurant. And when you come in, they're going to say, Welcome to Jataj. This is Just a Touch of J. You guys
Right.
are going to see my 4 bottles of wine, my Riesling, um, my Sauvignon Blanc. You guys are going to taste my Merlot and my Cabernet Franc. You guys are going to taste it. They're all going to be named after me. You know, my goal also is for my kids' children to also have bottles of wine for their generation and after that generation and after that generation as well. I want to
Mm-hmm.
own my own vineyard. I got some seasonings coming out with my mom that we're doing a nice seasoning line. I already talked about the app. I already talked about my 2 books. One of them I really don't want to get into detail with. It's really juicy. You guys are gonna love it.
Mm-hmm.
But we got the cookbook one, so I got 2 of those deals going on. I got some sauces that are coming out. I got some different collabs on some pop ups with with a few people that's going to be going down too. Um, I just got a lot going on, and I love it. And I'm so
Mm-hmm.
happy to say that through everything that I went through, all of these years, you should be a chef. You should be a chef. You should cook. And I
Mm-hmm.
went through heartache and pain, and look at me now. Like look at me now. Like literally,
Right.
I have cooked with a few celebrities. I have traveled to London and Japan to cook. Um, Shout out to Food Network and a couple other people. Just want to throw that plug out there.
Mm-hmm.
I have done quite a few things, and I'm proud of myself and I'm happy, and I want everybody to know that they could do it too. Don't let nobody stop you. Don't let nothing that you have to go through in life keep you down, at all. You just continue to fight every day. Like what I did, it was consistency for me. That's how
Right.
I lost weight. That's how I got my mental together. Doing the same thing. That's how I did my rose petal baths. That's how I would do my own pedicure, my own manicure. Of course, I could pay for it.
Right.
That's not an issue at all. But I wanted to make sure that I put some type of self love back into myself. That's the key. You gotta love yourself. For anybody to love you, or you have to love yourself in order to give love.
Right.
And that's part of my mission, getting people to put love, like I said, bring love back into the family, into the kitchen, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And that's why we got Making Love and Beats Kitchen on Instagram, and we got Veronica's Guide to Making Love in the Kitchen on Facebook.
So the actual cookbook,
Right.
when and where are we anticipating that? Where can we do you know where we'll be able to pick that up at, or how's that working?
Well, what's working with that is the actual cookbook is no longer the actual cookbook. Cookbook is getting redone because now I have a book deal. So It's
Mm-hmm.
you'll be able to purchase that. We said winter. I always said winter of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reason why it didn't come out before was because of everything that I was going through.
Right.
You know, I could not. I could have put it out because it was done, but I couldn't deal with everything that had to go with it. Standing in front of the camera, you know, the publicity that I had to do and the marketing and things like that. Because mentally, remember, I wasn't there. So
Right.
why would I do something like that knowing that I wasn't there? So for all you guys who kept bugging me, where's the cookbook at? I want the cookbook, you know, and I'm barely getting out of bed, but you didn't know that. You know, that is
Right.
the reason why you didn't have it. Because I was
Right.
like, I wouldn't even be able to, you know, support it because I was just mentally, like I said, not there.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So you'll be able to get that this winter. And
Gotta get my
Barnes and
signed
Noble.
copy.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said I'll be getting my signed
You'll get
copy.
your signed copy. I'm also
Just
going to
sign
be
on the seafood collard greens page.
doing yeah, I'm also going to be doing like different cooking classes. We're going to be doing some cooking competitions, you know, like where we go, what is that, like Top Chef, where we got to do, we're going to get the stuff out of the basket and we're going to see what's going on and what it's hitting for. We're going to be doing some stuff like that. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got a
It
lot of stuff
sounds
going on.
awesome.
I'm going to on tour this year. You know, we doing different cities and coming to a city near you. We're going to be everywhere. And we're going to be doing it where you can come and you can sit down and actually pay to meet me, and I'm going to cook for you. And we'll
Mm.
have some music, and we're going to have some good fun. I got some different, I make my own juice. So we're going to have a lot of that going on too, where you get to taste that as well.
Okay.
It's going to be good. It's going to be real
I'm
good.
writing some of this stuff down
You're
so I
writing it
can,
down. What you writing
yeah,
it down for, chef?
so I can bring it up later. Like, where's that juice at? Here's my cup. When we cooking.
I got a good mango ginger one for you.
Mm.
Gonna light your palate on fire.
Yeah, I was working on some stuff today. I was just inundated. That's why it's good to have chef friends. You know what I mean? You get burnt out, you can always call your friends up and collaborate on some recipes and things like that.
Yeah, because yesterday, during that pre-interview, when we were talking about the wings, and we were talking about that whole pie. Remember the
Mm,
chayote squash pie? I was like, you know what? I
what?
throw that on something. Let me see, but I don't think wings though. I'm thinking turkey. I don't know why.
What? Turkey wings or
Yeah,
turkey?
whatever. I think like a turkey wing type of. Or you know what? I know. God just gave it to me. For y'all that don't know, God always lays things on my heart and I write it down. So
Mm,
I'm gonna do that on like a Thanksgiving type of thing, like a turkey. Put it on the base of that chayote apple squash. I'm gonna make
is
like
it?
a,
Is it?
a sauce out of it.
I was gonna ask you, is it sticky or?
No, it ain't sticky. No, it's not sticky. But I know how to make it sticky. I know
Hmm.
what to do. I know what to do with it. Yeah. Shout out to everybody that's gonna be eating with us on Thanksgiving and Christmas. You in for a treat.
I'll probably have to get with you on your whole diet menu.
Yes. Something
Trying to
else
get
that
back.
we got going on too.
Yeah. Did you change your diet up much? Did you cook different when you were doing the weight loss? When you were on your weight loss journey, how'd that work?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I cook all this food, but guys, I really don't eat a lot of the food that I cook.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I don't like it, it's just that I have a stomach that's just not really happy when I put certain things in there. So, my diet is really plain. I really didn't have to alter it too much. What I did was I did cleanse. I cleansed
Mm-hmm.
3 different times to get out all the impurities and the things that weren't supposed to be in there. So really, I think that's why I cook the way I cook as well, because my palate's different, because I don't eat fried foods really. I don't eat fatty foods. I definitely don't eat fast food at all. Uh,
Right.
so, I eat plain. Like I can take some tuna on some mixed greens with no dressing, nothing, and just eat it like that, and it just tastes like heaven to me.
So who's eating all of that unplain food that's on your Instagram account?
um, my kids, their friends, some of my associates. Sometimes I make it for other people, my clients, and
Right.
I may just take pictures of it before that. Like everything's always done with me, like I was saying before. It's always done ahead of time. Like I have things done, like my Beats podcast topics, this thing that we're doing right now. This was done
Hmm.
6 months ago. I'm a
Okay.
planner. So, I said, like I said, I'm gonna give myself 6 months to heal and mentally heal from all what was that? April the 12th. It went up to September the 12th. Then after that I was like, okay, now I need to really be working out. Let me give my time for working out. And in this time with working out, I'm gonna start putting out my Bees podcast topics. Now I have over 100 topics that you can type in on the internet and just type in these podcast topics, and any one of my followers could just pick a topic and say, that's what I want to hear you talk about.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Did you mention the app?
yeah, I mentioned the app. The app's going to have my recipes on it, and a lot of different fun things.
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot of different interactive things.
We got a lot of work to do.
Actually, no, it's really all done.
Really?
It's really all done. Like everything that I'm talking about is really all done. It's just going to be released when we set it up to be released. Like when
Hmm.
I say I have been working through this past year, that's why these dates are really significant for me. That's why I wanted to go ahead and make sure I shared my story. Like I woke up, I told you that I woke up, um, what was it, like 2, 3 in the morning,
Hmm.
and just was scrolling through Facebook, and I was like, oh my God, it's the 12th. A year
Shit.
has passed.
Right.
Oh my gosh, look at what I've accomplished in a year. So a lot of that's done. And I want to share something with you guys too. A lot of it's done too because this gentleman that I was dealing with, when I had decided to kind of give him another chance, he kind of would laugh at my dreams.
Mm.
And he would always ask, could he help me with anything? And because like I said, this is this perfect person, and everything happens, and then he was just like totally different,
Right.
after that. And he had begun to like kind of like pick away at me. Like I guess he
Mm.
saw me growing and changing and evolving, and he said things like, you don't even have this account, and you don't even have that, and you can't even do this. And it just made me thirsty, as in to say I could do anything.
Right.
So a lot of this that happened was just like me striving to win and to succeed, and God has been blessing me. Like it would be like God was laying stuff on my heart. Like I wasn't coming up with this myself. I just didn't sit down and say I want to go ahead and start a seasoning line. I think I should make this today. Sometimes these things would just come to me in visions.
Hmm.
And like the Bible says, when you get a vision, you need to write it down and make it plain. It said
Right.
that it may tarry, but it said that it's going to come, and that just means that it may be slow, but it's
Hmm.
going to definitely come. So why
Right.
wouldn't I
Right.
write down that vision? So I was writing stuff down, and before I knew it, it was like, oh, you completed this, you completed that. Okay, do this 6 months ahead of time. Like Jay-Z says, that CEO's mind, that marketing plan was me. Everything I did
Hmm.
was just me. Off
Right.
the strength of, I'm going to do this. How can I do this? Let me educate myself. Let me take a small little seminar, a little class. Let me see how I can do this. I did this all
Right.
through the year in the process of healing. I just wanted to better myself.
Right. Right. Well, you done well.
Thank you.
You made me hungry. You always do that.
I don't know how you hungry because you was just over there eating something. I heard you
Eating
when
garbage.
you still eating junk food.
Yeah, garbage don't count. I
See,
ain't doing right.
if you
Um,
guys knew how good he cooked, you would be like, you eating what?
yeah, I had to do the brownies today, man. Not
you
that I needed not one brownie, but
you had
I
some
had to
brownies
cook.
today.
Yes, I
I've
did.
been thinking about brownies for the last 2 days.
Hmm.
Brownies for the last 2 days. I really want brownies. Now I think I'm
So,
gonna make some brownies tonight.
what you speaking of brownies? What you think about edibles?
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna be doing something with that too, guys. I got it. I got it. Remember we talked about that yesterday?
Hmm.
Um, I don't have no problem with edibles. It's a lot of things that the marijuana industry, in that industry, it helps a lot of people, um, and I don't have an issue with it at all.
Absolutely.
Definitely no problem with that. I'm definitely doing something with that. That's a little later on down the line, though.
Hmm.
But that's on the list. I'm going to
Yeah,
win.
I have a drink with it's not it's non-alcoholic actually from Roberts 216. Um, it's a extract though. It's not an edible.
Right,
So
right.
it's a lemon lime punch with cannabis extract.
Mm-hmm.
But the extract gets you it medicates you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's very it has a strong punch to it. You're definitely saucy. Um, but it's well, I don't want to say in Jersey. Jersey has so many regulations right now. I don't know what they're doing with the edibles and
Didn't we just
the
say we was
regu.
going to go out to Colorado, though?
Yeah, but you know that this is they're already moving like that in New York
Yeah.
and up and down the eastern seaboard. It's just everything just skips over New Jersey. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be start talking about Jersey right now.
Right, exactly.
Like
Jersey is crazy.
like
Shout out to Jersey, but y'all ain't right.
shout out, but man, like come on, like we're the last one on the totem pole to get with anything.
Right.
But that's all right. But it's really strong. But it has so many
Mm,
medicinal qualities.
mm, mm.
I'm trying to figure out. That's going to be on my next thing, trying to delve into some of these things. But as far as the cannabis extracts are concerned and the edibles, but yeah, Colorado, you know, if you can put something together and shoot it out there where they're not overly regulated,
Yeah.
you can really do some, get some work done, man. Grow something, grow a little business or whatever it is, whatever your heart desire.
Mm. It sounds good. So you got
Hmm.
any more questions for me, Shay?
Oh, you know what? You answered a lot of questions, and I know you wore out.
Think of
But it
one
was it
good
was
one.
one good one. Oh, I asked you a question. I want to get in your
What?
pockets. I want to get in your recipe book.
All right. All
I'll
right.
ask you
I
like what
okay.
ask you some of your secret sauces and secret ingredients are and whatnot. So, but I do want to ask you a question that's food related though,
What?
because I think you mentioned when you talked about stuffing something.
What?
Um,
I ain't talking about stuff like that. You've been trying to get that recipe for the last 2 days. Y'all, he been trying to get that recipe for like the last couple of days.
it was
No, you trying to get that chicken sandwich stuff recipe.
it was talking about some kind of fish stuffing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I tagged you
Yeah,
in it.
with you,
Going in my
yeah, with
Making
you.
Love and Bees kitchen. He talking about what I stuffed my chicken with, my salmon with.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what you want. I gotta make it for
Yeah.
you though, but I can't tell you all the secrets.
So let's for the people who were kind of inspired and we appreciate you being candid and forthwith with a lot of things. Like everybody doesn't you know share things that they go through.
Right.
Um,
Don't.
and it takes a lot of courage, to even do something like that. But moving forward, You have
Yeah.
any type of advice that you would give someone that may have made it through or in the process of healing from something that they've gone through? Um, how do they get up? What can they do to put the past behind them and move forward? Of course, you're going to remember what you went through as a learning tool, but how do they put it behind them so that it's not affected their forward progress? Like,
Um,
how do they get
prayer.
their life back?
Like, I know a lot of people, believe in the Lord. Some of them don't, For me, it was just prayer.
Hmm.
Every day, I stay in prayer. And, you have to remember your worth, and
Remember
some,
what?
you have to remember your worth. You
Hmm.
have to know that if someone really loves you, that their actions will line up with what they're saying to you. You have
Hmm.
to understand that you got to love you first. And when you
Right.
love you, you understand when someone isn't loving you correctly.
Right.
I understand that nobody is perfect and everybody makes mistakes, but you'll know. And just keep fighting and just keep pushing forward and know better. Like, don't lie to yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Like, that was the big thing for me. Tell yourself the truth. If you're dealing with it, ask yourself, why do I keep dealing with it? What is it in me that I feel like I need to keep being in an abusive relationship? Whether it's an abusive relationship because it's mentally abusive or physically abusive, or maybe not an abusive relationship. Maybe, it could be something that's going on with your job that has you where you just feel like you can't get up, or maybe you lost your child or your mother or anything you might just be struggling with. Just keep pushing. Love yourself, stay in prayer, um, know what you deserve, um, know that you can do better, and don't keep going back to the past. Leave it
Hmm.
where it is.
Right.
Leave it where it is. If someone really wants to be with you or love you, they will.
Right.
Nothing to keep them away from you. Nothing to keep you down if you want to keep rising. So I just suggest that you just keep pushing, get some counseling if you need counseling. I didn't go to counseling or anything. I was okay as far as that was concerned, but seek some counseling. There's a lot of free support groups out there. Contact me if you want. Making Love and V's Kitchen. You can contact me through there. Call, text, email. It comes straight to my cell phone. The same thing with my Veronica's Guide to Making Love in the Kitchen. You can also hit me up at just a touch of j icloud.com. um, and if you need some support that way, we'll definitely, I get my team to reach out to you and um, give you some support.
Sounds good, chef.
Something else too, one other thing, um, like I spoke about consistency and things like that. Keep being consistent with what you're doing, because that's the key. And also, what I do for me is I have a little, like a pop up message every morning that basically I change it like monthly. And I have been doing this way before any of this stuff had happened. But it says, mine just basically says, like, you're a strong mother, keep doing this thing, keep going, believe in yourself. So you can do something like that. Write something on your bathroom mirror
Mm.
every day. Write out your goals, plan, be successful,
Hmm.
and always tell yourself that you love yourself, because that's where it starts at. Tell yourself the truth. It starts with
Right.
you.
That's good advice.
I try. But if that's it, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Chef, you got anything to say?
Nah, thanks for having me. It was very informative. I'm definitely gonna um take note of some of the information that I received because we all go through some stuff. I think actually last year was a lot of I talked to a lot of people that went through some things. I went through some things.
Me too.
Had some family members. It was tough.
It was 17 was something. I know a lot of
Yeah,
people who really were going through in
yeah,
2017.
yeah. So hopefully, um, they're looking forward to a new start, a new beginning.
Yes.
I'm definitely, working, striving. I got a lot of things that I want to get done, and I'm encouraged, to keep moving forward and getting things done.
Stay encouraged,
For
guys.
myself,
Yeah.
you know, on the strength of other people. So I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate you putting yourself out there like that for people and for your listeners. And I hope they appreciate your act of kindness just the same.
Oh,
Wish you all the luck, all the best of luck too with all the endeavors. Definitely keep me posted with everything.
definitely. I definitely am. I told you before, you're amazing. And I'm so proud of you. You better keep it pushing. I'm on you anyway. Okay. You already know that.
Absolutely. I
I'm on
appreciate
you
it. I need
anyway.
that.
You're definitely welcome, King. All right, guys. It's just a touch of J. And I told you I was giving it to you all piece by piece. Thanks for tuning in. You guys have a wonderful night. Talk to you soon. Bye.